So here's what it was gonna be. We were gonna be outside, super casual, talking like conversation type shit, you know?
Okay.
I wanted it to feel like a conversation with just us, not like a podcast, you know?
All right.
And then God decided to just literally rain on my parade.
Literally rained on it.
And it was gonna basically open, boom, boom.
Who was making that happen?
Well, you know, it's in my head, movies.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, it was gonna open, gay music in the background.
Okay.
I don't know what that means exactly. And then like we're just by the fire, and then all of a sudden I'm just talking about when I came out for the first time. Because I didn't want to go and like look at the camera and be like, I'm gay. Brr.
Just did it.
You know, no.
Just did it.
But it was that was ruined. So I think that's kind of what it has to be.
And what's this shameless plug, actually? Because you find out why it was ruined on patreon.com/VickyBoys, but I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not.
I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
I'm
crazy.
just saying.
But that is basically what it turned into.
Yeah.
So we can still tell the story, but first we'll just get it out of the way. I'm gay.
No! No! Well, not the gay part.
No!
I can't.
I was not expecting that. That was very gay.
My ear's ringing.
I can't believe you just did that. We just.
Ow!
We just.
Did you know that was happening?
Fuck you! No, I didn't know.
I didn't know.
We just had like. Oh my god! There's gold ones too.
Oh no.
We just vacuumed all the popcorn out of here, and now we have this.
Oh jeez.
You knocked the gold one off that was on the ceiling.
But there's a new one.
Yeah, you got it. There's a new
replaced
one there.
it.
I can't believe I'm so mad. You're cleaning it up. I don't care. You're cleaning it up.
Anyway, so where were we?
You said you wanted to say the story.
Yeah. So what?
It's a great. I love it. I love this.
Harken us back. We were in. I don't know what. I keep trying to figure out what year it was. I think it was.
It was sometime in 2007.
I think it was 2017, which is kind of a long time ago now.
Yeah, that is a long time.
I think maybe a year earlier, but
Maybe a year earlier.
No, because you were back from being away at that point.
Yeah,
or on the tail end of being
true,
away.
that's
I was still away because I remember after that trip I went back, and basically we went to this bar called McFadden's, which is actually a national chain. Didn't know that.
I think it's gone now. That specific place.
That specific one is definitely gone.
Yeah.
And basically McFadden's has this deal that's kind of a scam that like
not a scam.
It's like scam but not. It's like a great promotion. Either way, you enter your number into McFadden's system and then they'll text you with a free open bar.
well, you enter into a sweepstakes,
Yes.
and then they'll text you and go, "You won," in which they text to everyone.
Yeah, and-
That's why it's a scam.
Gotcha.
That's why it's a
But you
scam.
still get a free open bar.
If you bring 4 other people who can pay, what is it, $25 for an open bar?
Right, but if you go 4 times and you alternate people, you got you get one free each.
That's true. Anyway, so we were at McFadden's open bar. We're drinking heavy.
We's intense.
Oh, we're all drinking heavy.
Oh no, we were all drinking heavy. You want to guess the age? 3, 2, 1. Not the right one.
We're all drinking heavy, and there was some. Listen, I don't know how to even describe this. You describe
I
this.
gotcha. Hot bartender, big tits.
Yeah, yeah. That is.
I think you were capable of describing
that is what she was, and she was like, she was
on you.
She was on me. She was like sucking my ear.
I saw that for some point, and again, this is before we knew. Like we were, what? How old were we? No, we don't need the specific age actually, but so and I was with everybody else, and I was like, God, Danny's really. Because usually when because it was an interesting thing. Because usually when there's a hot bartender or an attractive bartender, whatever, they're kind of playing you. You know, it's like because they want a tip or something.
Well, I was tipping her because I was just like, first of all, I tip big at an open bar because I want more drinks more quickly. But I think she was getting something, and she was sucking on my ear.
That's what I was gonna say. And then you look over, and she's like my headphones on his ear. I'm like, oh, there's tongue in there.
Yeah,
it was weird. I was freaked out. And then at that point, I was having my own mental crisis because I was like, listen, I'm fine being in the closet, but I'm not gonna pay for this. Like, I'm not gonna pay extra money to keep up this charade
and like pretend it's awesome and you love it.
Yeah, because I did not love it. Like, first of all, weird. Stop licking people's ears.
Oh, well, I know you didn't like it.
If you're a bartender, why you just? I did not say my name to this person. Why are you licking my ear? Who knows? Who knows what kind of ears I got?
Especially. I mean, lucky you. I'm weird with ear stuff. Like she might have gotten a lucky her. No, this. No, this. So it wasn't a fist, guys. It was like
it was definitely an elbow strike.
It was
an elbow strike.
Like that. Like if she goes like this. And then you're like, what? And then they just lick your ear. You know.
That is true. Antonio, if you give him a wet willy, he'll punch you in the face.
First of all, anyone who gives wet willy should be punched in the face.
Thank you.
That's fair.
Okay. Very sensitive ears.
And so that was happening, and I was just like, this is all too much. And in my drunk brain, I was like, I can't be in here. I can't be in this bar.
We're gonna switch POVs. My turn. And then out of nowhere, after that happens, like, oh, Danny's having a good time. 4 seconds later, sprints out the door. Sprints, full, like this kind of, like I thought he was
moving people out of the way.
Yeah. I thought he was throwing up. I thought he was gonna throw up, and I was like, the bathroom's that way, but he was closer to the door, so he ran out. I don't know what happened at that point, but all I know is that I went outside, and the bouncer just went. That's all he did. He just went that
Your
way.
buddy's that way.
Yeah. The guy that ran out, and he was that way.
Well, our friend Robert followed me first, and so that's probably why the bouncer knew where you were going.
Right.
And so basically, Robert tracks me down, and at that point, like that was the first time I ever told anybody, and it just it felt like it was throwing up. Like I didn't mean to tell him. It's just like word vomit.
Yeah.
And so I told him. And then you come, and we're like having a discussion. He's like, "Oh, it's okay. Like, don't worry, blah 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 blah." And I'm crying.
Well, Danny cries quite often. To be fair,
I'm an emotional man.
He's an emotional man.
And then you guys come over, and as you come over, it's like fucking Andy's coming, you know? I just have to go back into what I had been doing for like 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, I just said the age, but that's okay.
Around that.
All right, ish.
Yeah.
And I as soon as they walked over, I just went, God, that waitress was hot, right? And then I went, no. No.
So dramatic. I showed up. I was like, dude, because I just get angry. So I didn't know what was going on. I'm just like, why the fuck did you do that? Like,
why are you a block away from the bar?
What are you doing?
Right
I was just like, what are you doing? He went, that fucking bartender's so hot, right? I went, yeah. And he goes, because he asked me that question, and I was answering, and while I was answering, before I even got a word out, he was like, no.
I couldn't.
It's like, no.
I couldn't do it any longer. And then also Robert would the entire night. I didn't want to do that to Robert, where he's just like wants to ask questions and like obviously something's weird. Why is Danny crying?
Yeah,
all this stuff. And so I just told you and Nick and Robert all in that day.
Yeah,
and that was the first time, which went pretty well.
I think it went fine.
It went pretty well.
The only thing that went wrong was you crying and running. Well, everything else was kind of smooth.
That's what happens. And it's so weird because I knew it would go well with basically all of my friends and family. So it's like, it's just strange. I don't know.
And then we just sat on a random New York City block in the middle of the sidewalk, which I would literally never do now.
Yeah.
Never would do it. The circumstances called for it because he was just crying, but I'd be like, yeah, all right, we got to go somewhere else.
First we were actually in the public area of a Holiday Inn.
Oh, they kicked us out immediately.
And we were
immediately.
Yeah, they were like, "Can you get out of here?" And we were like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Cuz they know that the bars around the block, they probably just thought we were drunk and idiots, and we were all of those things.
Yes.
So
and gay.
And gay.
Drunk idiots and gay.
So and then what we did was just go across the street and sat on the sidewalk. That's all we did. We were just staring at the whole time. The guy was just...
Yeah, the guy was just like...
Better not come back in here.
It's like, don't come close.
But yeah, so that was the first time. And then since then...
And I wasn't there.
You weren't there.
I was like at college or whatever. I wasn't there that night.
Yeah.
So I didn't learn till later.
So then I went back home, like to where at the time I think I was living in St. Louis or San Francisco. And I was just like... I wonder what they think about that. You know, it's like, it's weird to tell somebody something that is like, you know, kind of alters potentially what you think about them or just like how you see them potentially.
I think it's inevitable that you go, oh, well, that part makes a little more sense now. And then you go, oh, that's strange that he did that at that time. And it's like, oh, well, that makes sense now. You know,
you start connecting
you go through it all.
dots.
You go through it all.
Yeah.
And then he just left. He dropped that breadcrumb, left. Well, not breadcrumb. He dropped that whole pie.
Yeah.
And then he just left. He went back to St. Louis, and now me and Robert and everybody are in the diner the next morning like, Well, that happened, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I don't know when you happened.
And then I just
Not.
JD Skate 2.
By the way.
No. Just me for now. And
What the fuck is that?
We'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Up until that day, honestly, you never know.
That's true.
Because then they start dropping like flies, kind of.
Yeah. And so basically after that, it's just like it's just like I tried to get one person and kind of expand this circle, all my close friends. Mm-hmm. And it's just so, honestly, that was the part that pissed me off the most. It's just like, why do I have to do this?
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Like, it's just, why do I have to do this to everybody? It's so annoying. It's like I like, for so long, I was like, what the fuck? Why do I get handed this responsibility?
Yeah.
Because I was only told once. He was only told once. You have to tell it. 10 times maybe more.
Pretty much forever.
Yeah, pretty much for all.
You're doing another one right now.
Yeah,
and because like
but this one's a big encompassing one because he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, this is like I'll just have like a link, and if anybody ever asks me, I'll just go here, watch this.
And it'll just be a clip of the rainbow confetti.
Yeah.
By the way, about this.
Yeah.
We planned on doing this outside.
Yes. Wasn't gonna do it outside.
Because if you did,
no.
if you did, it turns into something else.
I wasn't gonna do that outside. Again, I wanted this whole thing to not feel like a podcast and just feel like a conversation about gay.
Yeah, but you're too much of a performer.
I know.
An entertainer,
I
if
know.
you will.
No.
But when did you tell him?
I told him another day, just like, again, I would just like,
because I wasn't there for that.
I would just take everybody like on a little side tangent and be like, hey, just letting you know.
It's pretty normal circumstances. Definitely 21, definitely very wasted, and definitely just on a random street.
Oh, I don't think I told anybody sober for the next 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair.
There were times where I think Danny, and this is where I agree with you. Like I felt bad where he has to get to this drunk to even say it. I'm like, all right, well, this is a crazy thing to have to go through, and I don't understand it, but like I get the feeling. Like like it's like it's upsetting. Like empathy towards you to have to do it. I'm like, because in my head it's easy to go, oh, why don't you just do it, and then you have to think about all like I get it.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Like I get it.
So did you you just I'm hanging out with Chaz tonight. The plan is like I'm gonna get 7 drinks
That's what
deep.
it felt like.
I tried to make it just. I tried. Well, I knew I wanted to do it to like all the close friends because first of all, you don't hold a secret for so long. Eventually, someone's gonna find out.
Yeah.
And I would just kind of like get drunk normally, and then I'd be like, oh, this feels like a good place to insert it.
Well, since you told like the close friends in groups, were you surprised that you were able to go back to St. Louis or San Francisco or whatever and like come back and they hadn't told each other?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised.
I wasn't told by anyone.
Because the first time I did it too, I was like, you guys can tell whoever you want. Because I just didn't want the burden. Which
you tried to offset the burden onto them.
I know.
That was his plan the whole time because
sure.
it doesn't matter. He's still a selfish man.
No, I'm not a selfish man.
man.
I just didn't want to do it. It's just like, it's so annoying. And so
you think we felt that it was the right place to really spread it?
No, and then the next morning, I was also very drunk. So the next morning,
couldn't have been drunk.
You guys asked me, and I was like, yeah, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, which makes
and if you do, I'll never be friends with you.
Yeah. I had the receipts, which makes it now an understandable because we're all friends. Like he made us share the burden now. So it's like what I've had to deal with for this long. Now you have the tiniest fraction of peace, and it sucked. It still sucked.
No, number one, I have a couple thoughts. I'm surprised you could go through like all of high school and half of college and be holding it in.
I don't even know how to explain that. It's just like
that's what.
It's just I don't know. First you got to figure it out within yourself, and then you have to tell people, and then you have to tell people, and it's just like I don't know. You don't want to. You just don't want people to think differently of you. I guess to change. It's kind of like, you ever been to a party? And like you choose to keep your coat on or like your hoodie on, and somebody says, "Oh, take your coat off," blah, blah, blah. And then you just keep it on, and then like halfway through the party, you're like, "It's fucking hot as shit in here. I want to take this coat off," but you're wearing a shirt underneath that says "I love men," And so you can't take the shirt off because then it's just like, oh, now.
Wait. So is the coat the gayness, or is the shirt the gayness?
The shirt is the gayness. The coat is the straightness.
Also,
and you're revealing it.
Cloak. Yes.
And you just asked me if I've ever done this.
Well, no, not the shirt, but everybody's been there.
Without the words on the shirt.
Everybody's been like, oh, I should have taken my coat off when they asked me to, and I didn't. And now maybe this is just Danny brain, but even if I'm not wearing a shirt that says I love men on it, I'm like, even if I'm not doing that.
Have you worn a shirt that says I love men on it?
Not typically. But so even if I don't do that, I don't like to be like, I don't know. My weird brain will say like, oh, I'll just suffer in heat. So that I don't have to take the coat off. Because then I'm gonna now I'm gonna have to ask the person like, oh, where's the coat rack? And then they're like, "Oh, you should have took your coat off at the beginning." And now I have sweat stains. It's the whole thing.
You're losing.
It's the whole thing.
You're losing. You're making this.
This is not the analogy.
He's making it hyper specific to him.
Yeah, you're making you're making this so real about someone who left their jacket on.
I relate more to just the gay, like the coming out thing, than I do to this weird analogy. Yeah, it's weird analogy I've never experienced.
It's like having this secret you want to get out is way more relatable than your weird coat thing.
I thought this was a universal experience.
Which part?
The coats. Either way, somebody will get me. But then afterwards, it's like, I don't know. Again, it's because that was 2017. This is 8 years after that. 7 years after that. Yeah.
Could be approaching 8. Depends on the months. It was kind of cold, so maybe.
So the first time coming out, it feels like very impromptu, bartender sucking you, so you freaked out, whatever. What was your original plan to come out? You didn't go out that night trying to do it, right?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a great question. I didn't have one.
Were you gonna hold this secret forever?
I didn't know. I was still just kind of figure out. Like I said, the first time it came out, it was just like a mixture of drunkenness, and it was just like, sometimes it just bubbles over, and it just like has to happen. And so it just happened. I don't know. I really didn't have a plan to do so. And then once I told some people, it was like, first of all, feels amazing. That was great.
Really?
Yeah, freeing? Yeah. It's like, well, it's just like a bit of a weight lifted off your chest, and then you think, oh, well, then there's every single other person. And then, so I told my friends before I told my parents.
And now you've started to unravel this, and now you have to keep going and telling people because you can't. Like you can't. You could, but it would be really hard to tell Antonio and Chaz and Robert, and then not me. Yeah, so you kind of now you're forced to continue this.
Yeah, he kind of set off his own dominoes.
Yeah, exactly. You do knock down at like a line of dominoes at some point.
And now you're telling the picky people.
And now you're telling the picky people.
That's true. And it took a while to get here too. I mean, we've been doing this for a while, but it just takes a while to go through because first of all, after you come out, there's like this weird period where you're like have to dissect every part of your personality and like say like, okay, is this what I like, who I want to be? Is this me? Or is this the things that I was interested in or said I liked or this and that and the other to pretend to be straight, And so you just have to go through and like go off this checklist of like, which part is the mask and which part isn't.
Right.
And so it's a lengthy process, some more than others. But I gave myself a deadline, and I was like, definitely before I'm 27, which is really old, I think, relatively.
Why 20? Just
because I just thought like
at the time it was a faraway number.
Yeah,
and now it's real close.
Now it's really close. It's next month, and so it's in 23 days. But I drew the line, and I was like, I'm doing it. And also, I just like I wanted it to be in my 20s, so I at least have a few years of like
of gay 20s.
Gay 20s, woohoo! Even though I've been having my years of gay 20s, it's just like, I don't know. But it just still felt not genuine. Like I'd go to all these like pride events and I would just be like, this is awesome, super proud, this, that, and the other, love being gay. But if someone saw me here and recognized me, I would freak out. So it didn't feel like very prideful,
Gotcha.
Which and it's, by the way, do want to iterate, it's not a bad thing if you're, everybody has their own timeline. Like there's no right or wrong way to do this. And just as long as you're safe, to come out, whatever. That's, you can do it at any timeline. But that was mine. I don't know.
No, for sure. And it was kind of, not, I don't know if an honor's the word, but it's like the point of having close friends is to share any burden that the other person's having. So whatever, like, the point of you announcing it at that time. It's like, okay, now we share this together. And that's kind of the point of the friendship. It's like, oh, whatever helps you a little bit. It's like, all right, let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
True. And then when we started the podcast, there was like this, it was, to me, it was a no-brainer. But to everybody else, I'm sure it's like, so now what do we have to kind of like tiptoe around? Like, whenever we've been talking about like relationships or sex stuff, like I've always kind of used like non-gendered language. I just say like they or this person.
And I still think that part's going to continue.
Maybe.
Like I feel like, oh yeah, no,
maybe not.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean like, oh, that's not what I mean. I mean, it's easier to speak that way. I feel like in terms of like include everybody is what I mean. Is more what I mean.
But there were some instances where I was like,
we'll get into those because you really pissed me off a lot of times. Like you pissed me off many times.
Let's get to those.
So essentially, what happened was that when Danny LaPriore and Joe came on to our podcast for the first time, like we had anything that size, and we had a segment that we were going to run, which we did run. You could watch it. I think it's episode 77, maybe something like that, 72. It was called Know Your Danny, where it's a newlywed thing about. So it's me and Danny and Joe and Danny LaPriore. And there were questions that you set up. It
was like, what age you lose your virginity?
Yeah, it was what age you lost your virginity, and who was your crush when you were younger?
Who was your celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. And we lost because he forgot all the lies he was telling.
As soon as that question was asked, I don't know. I haven't even watched that back, but like in my head, it was like the SpongeBob, like you forgot his name thing. My brain was on fire. I was like,
my name?
Who the fuck do I say?
Because
like who are hot women and celebrity women? I don't know.
And it's not
really funny. He said something like totally out of date.
And he did, and it's not your fault. It's literally not your fault, but it's just funny because so they asked, "What's your celebrity crush?" And this guy used to talk about Katniss Everdeen every goddamn day.
I loved Hunger Games.
And he loved the Hunger Games. And, I guess the Katniss thing was, a mask or a shield or whatever. Or maybe you just genuinely did like the
I mean,
character.
there's something like pretty gay and spectacular about like just a really cool archery person.
So like again,
and so I was like, at least I can like her for that and pretend to like her sexually.
And that's my point. That's my point. And let me reiterate, I already knew all of this.
Yeah.
So he used to say Katniss Everdeen, and then it gets to that question, and we lost by a mile, by the way, because he kept forgetting like his lines essentially. So I wrote Katniss, and he goes Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Right?
And Joe or Danny even comments on it and goes, Emma Stone, what is this, 2010 or something?
And that comment on that answer was completely correct.
First of all, Emma Stone.
Beautiful woman.
Well, shout out to her.
You could say
she's a queen.
But like that part was funny because then all the comments, if you read the comments on the video, it's like, I really love Joe and Danny's relationship because,
they know each other.
They know each other so much more than these other two who've known each other for so much longer.
Well, here, we got to get the boards out. Let's run it back. What's the actual answer?
I don't know them because he kept lying.
There's no male version? No male actual answer?
I don't think so.
You said that you were kind of dissecting your personality and like removing parts that you faked to be straight.
That's a good question.
So what did you pretend to like that you didn't like because you thought it was masculine?
Katniss Everdeen.
Was that one of them?
Well, no, it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, this is going to say, I'm just like a crazy person right now.
Oh, God.
But it's like literal research of like.
Whoa, time out.
What?
When you say, like, you can't use the word literal when it's you. You're saying literal research, and that's what you're going by?
Like literal research of like how
labias.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I was kidding.
No,
what?
like how like men would talk to each other about having sex with women. I swear to God,
brother.
Like I went that far,
brother. I
went that far because I was just like, I need to.
I pictured Danny walking into like while we're all hanging out. He walks in and goes, dude, I was with this girl with the nicest labias last night, man. It was crazy.
Dude, we at that age, none of us knew how to
none of us
had
that's not true, though. That's not true, though.
Bro, we had people who we know had sex with a woman talking about it and us not believing them because of how wrong they were
I understand that, but I was just like, again, I was trying to dot every I and cross every T. And there's a lot of other stuff, too, that like, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as much as I pretended to like things as much as I pushed away things that maybe I would have liked but are a little too gay.
Like what? Like I want to know like what? Like what'd you push away? Like not because that's like
figure skating.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, my figure skating career would have been incredible.
First of all,
you should see my sow cow.
would love it.
The fact that you know what that is, I almost believe you.
I don't know. Like I've the good thing is that a few of our other friends in our friend group actually happen to have an affinity for this, so it was okay. But like I'm a sucker for like really like pretty stereotypically gay girly pop music, and like I would kind of be like,
You see the over and I get it. I get where you're coming from, but the overthinking was so extreme that there's a 4,000% chance that 90% of the things you pushed away, everyone enjoyed anyway.
No, I mean I know that,
until you
but
get into
for
like,
sure.
oh no, this specifically only this group of people know or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Like me and Chaz and even you, we would all like fucking blast the lyrics to Ironic.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that could be perceived as
Alana
girly
Morris.
pop.
Yeah,
but
for
like
sure.
that's fucking. We love that shit.
But it's just so it's stuff like that, and I don't know. It's I don't know any like specific examples, but it's stuff like that where it's like maybe I do like this, and I just don't know because I never tried it because I didn't want it to be like a red flag or a rainbow flag.
I could see the overthinking thing, and
Yeah,
No, for sure.
and you know
something
I'm a notorious overthinker.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So sometimes I would just feel like this is a lot to just like hide the secret. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, did you ever
What are
feel
we
like
doing?
we were on to you?
Not really.
No, you're
Not
like these
really.
idiots have no idea.
We always used to like joke about like, oh, if you were gay, how would you come out? And I always used to say
I was
like,
about to say this. I was
and
about to say
I
this.
always just say that I would invite everybody to a party, and in the front of the party would just be a huge closet, and then we'd all be hanging out, and then like an hour into the party, I'd like burst through and confetti cannons everywhere, and so this is close enough for me. This is my big closet.
That would have been awesome. I would have loved that.
I mean, after about 20... First of all...
You're waiting too long with an hour.
First of all...
Yeah.
As soon as I walked into any kind of room and I saw... I'd be like, there's something wrong with the closet.
Also,
Maybe a cake.
As soon as you
A
say
cake makes sense, but if it's big enough, be like, Danny's in the cake.
No, yeah.
I would
If there's somebody's in the cake, everybody knows someone's in that cake.
Yeah. If it's a big enough for there to be someone in the cake, you know someone's
always
in the
assume
cake.
someone's in the cake.
Always
Yeah.
assume someone's in the cake. Don't get close.
I
Also-
assume someone's in every cake.
Yeah.
that's
Well-
3-tiered.
No,
at
that's
least.
a rule of thumb. That's a rule of thumb.
Rule of thumb. Especially because it's on the table, because you can do that magician trick where you just come through the table.
Yes.
Also, if I got invited to a party by Danny after 15 minutes, and this is at his house, presumably, and after 15 minutes of him not being there and there being a closet in the front, you go,
Yeah.
oh, that's
The
ridiculous.
illusion would be run.
For some reason, I didn't picture my house. I pictured like a rec hall, like a
feel like you
gym.
pictured it-
I don't know.
I didn't. I picture not rec hall or house, but like a ballroom.
Yeah, like a bar.
You know where you hold sweet 16s and weddings.
Yeah, that's basically
And
what.
and by the way,
what we want it to be.
even more if I walked into that and you made me get in a suit and I'm like, there's someone in the closet. Someone's in there. Someone's in that closet right there.
So didn't exactly hit the mark, but you know, I like the way it turned out.
It'll do.
We had to do this because it rained torrentially, and God hates gay people. That's the only conclusion I could draw from that.
Which this is all, you could see this all in last Thursday on Patreon.
On Patreon, yes.
Patreon.com,
Patreon plug. I
patreon.com
can't believe
slash
you did a Patreon plug at the beginning of my
Yeah,
coming
using
out
his
video.
gayness for Patreon, slick business.
First
move.
of all, we're doing it on here anyway. Business goes on as usual. It doesn't change anything for me. Danny's Danny. I don't care. We're plugging everything.
That's true. I'm
not changing how I am.
The one thing I would also like to say is that all of my friends, incredibly nice. You're great guys.
Yeah. He pointed at me and said, I'm great, guys.
You're great guys. They were all nothing but loving and accepting, as I thought they would be. But you never know. You know, really, like honestly, you never know. But I knew, and they were nice.
And so was
But I
your
know.
family.
And so was my parents.
So, I mean, we have a good time here. I'm saying more like I would like you, coming from how us three share this platform, like something that you, like an advice you would give or some, like your final thought, your final thought to send it off of like how maybe it wasn't so bad, or there's something that you worried about, but, and you know, it didn't come out quite that way, but it still was okay in the end, or something like that. I don't know how to word this question.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, first of all, obviously, I think I touched on this earlier, but like, it's a journey. I'm still on that journey. Who knows what new gay thing I might like that now I can open the open like. So you just gotta like take it easy on yourself and just, you know, just do it at your own pace. And also, for everybody else, it's like, it seems very accepting, especially in New York City. Like, we live in New York City. Like, there is no other place that I could rather be where I would be like more accepted.
San Francisco.
But I moved there, still was in the closet there.
That's true.
So
that was sign number one. Really.
I think basically it's just like, if it took this long for me, like, it takes a long time for a lot of other people, and a lot of people are in the closet and never come out. And so that's why, like, all this stuff and people being gay and pride and all this stuff is, like, important, because it shows people, like, hey, this is good. And if I didn't have those events, who knows when I would have come out? Maybe never. Mm-hmm. So it's important.
And, you never know what's someone who could see this and think, like, oh, well, if that big dummy did it,
true,
I can do it.
That would be awesome if someone felt better because of this. That'd be great.
And
what more can you ask for?
Truly.
True.
And you said you didn't want it to feel like a podcast, so we can't really sign out.
Well, now it does feel like a podcast.
I feel like it felt like a podcast.
I feel like, was there anything I wanted to say? We never really. There was one thing I want to touch on.
No, we can keep going.
This is the end. If people always ask, like, when did you know you were gay?
Oh, okay, that's a good question.
And, like, if the gay agenda exists, it's in the underwear section of a Macy's or JCPenney.
Can I?
Like, that's when every gay boy goes, what the fuck?
What the fuck? What is that?
It's like a hall of just gayness and scantily clad men, and you're just like, oh my God.
But
I don't know I don't know these feelings I'm feeling.
What's funny is, I mean, it inherently is different, but it is no different from when we were the same age walking through, like, the Victoria's Secret part. It's like, God damn, look at those.
Well, the thing is, I can be there. I can be in the aisles, just be like.
First of all, you could be in that aisle.
Speaking from experience, creep.
First of all, window last week. Window shopping. Yeah, you don't know what underwear I'm wearing under here.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that's all I have to say.
No, you know what's gonna happen?
What's gonna happen?
Like how everything happens. It's when you're in an argument, or you're in a moment, and then that moment's you're in the shower hours later.
It's always in the shower.
Always in the shower hours later.
It really is.
And you're like, damn, I really wanted to touch on that. But in life, you can never really touch on everything.
It'll be an evolving journey. So that's that.
Fucking
come on in.
Pokemon over here.
Yeah. I am evolving. Can't wait to see me in my final form.
That's that's Dragon Ball.
Whatever.
What's more confusing about me is that you did all this in that hat. I hate that hat. It's terrible.
I was doing my straight cosplay today.
That's what
this is. Carhartt shirt, a fucking hunting hat. This is a straight cosplay.
Yeah, but he matches. But he matches it all the way from the button to the hat to the Carhartt letters to the shirt, all the way down to. Don't show the.
It's the details, baby.
It is the details. It is the details.
What can I say?
I have no idea how to end this. So
yeah, I don't know.
I'm counting on you. I have no idea how to do it.
You started. You
started. You got to end it.
I have no
complete
idea how to end
full
this.
circle.
Full circle. This was all a joke. No. I'm gay. Okay.
That's where I could cut it there. I could cut it there.
But don't. Maybe not. No. Yeah.
I'll leave this part in too.
Okay.
Get out of here. Who's cleaning this up? Because I'm not doing it.
I'll do it.